Hey everybody, welcome to our Take Command of Certificate Risk webinar. Just want to go over a few ground rules before we get started, just to make this ideal for everybody. So first of all, will you be able to access the slides and demo content after the webinar? Absolutely yes. We're going to follow up with some attachments so that you guys have everything you need. Even if you have to leave early from this webinar, that is completely fine, or you could send it over to some colleagues as well. There's a questions box. You can see kind of in the top right, there's a little question mark. Please put your questions there throughout the presentation, and at the end of it, we'll go through those. And I'm really excited. I've been working with JD on this for a while now. We announced it just last month, and we've gotten amazing reception from customers and prospects alike. And so I'm just really thrilled to be here with you all. And now, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to JD Kilgallin, who's head of analytics and AI at Keyfactor. So JD, take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, this is JD Kilgallin. Like you said, I lead a new analytics and AI product team here at Keyfactor. And today I'm going to talk about Command Risk Intelligence, a new component of our PKI as a service and CLA as a service solutions. This add-on is designed entirely around the problem of detecting and surfacing actionable risk from your PKI and certificate operations. We take a broad perspective of certificate risk and provide insights on a wide range of latent issues that might be evident in your certificate inventory. To do this, we first ensure that we have all of your organizational certificates in our database. Then we run each certificate through a series of analysis steps, and finally store that information as certificate metadata in Command so that the risk information ties into the full power of our certificate lifecycle management and automation capabilities. So the first step is pretty straightforward. In order to surface risk for a certificate, we need to know about it. Now, the core platform already includes extensive capabilities for discovering certificates in your enterprise network, connect to your CAs, network endpoints, file systems using our orchestrators, public CA gateways to connect the accounts you use for your primary public domains. And where risk intelligence augments these capabilities is by expanding discovery to your full public web footprint. So we will ingest records from certificate transparency logs, historical records of public host scans from a third-party database, and any certificates found online with subject info matching your organization, regardless of where it was hosted. So this helps to catch instances of shadow IT, where maybe like a rogue business unit is getting their own certificates outside of approved process, or maybe instances of lookalike domains that could represent some kind of spoofing or phishing attack. So these discovery capabilities complement the orchestrator-based discovery to capture your full public web footprint in addition to the certificates that we were already getting. Then the second thing we do is we take each certificate, old and new. So this is not running only on the advanced discovery certificates. This is running on all certificates. We run each one through the series of analysis checks that we have implemented. Again, this is a diverse set of checks rooted in different industry standards or published research that gives different perspectives of risk. So these are requirements that we would expect certificates to meet to provide appropriate security value. NIST has guidelines on migration to quantum safe algorithms and timelines for doing that. They have even older guidance on minimum key sizes for even classical computer defenses that take effect in similar timeframes, 2030, 2031, 2035 dates, all affect the keys that would be considered secure in that time frame. We do see a number of certificates extending beyond those dates, suggesting they might not meet security needs for their full lifetime. Then the CAB CA browser forum has a baseline requirements document that specifies many parameters that publicly trusted certificates should conform to. Some of those requirements are considered best practice for other certificate types too. So not necessarily just publicly trusted server certificates. Some of the baseline requirements would apply elsewhere. Some are very specific to that. Then my own IEEE published research from 2019, we were able to compromise hundreds of thousands of RSA keys in real use online that were poorly generated. We've incorporated that check into the product. Our newest research is to apply statistical and predictive modeling techniques to identify outliers that might represent some kind of security issue, automatically infer whether a certificate is likely or unlikely to exhibit high risk, things like that. And then finally, sometimes the riskiest thing about a certificate is just that it's untracked. So we are flagging anything that comes in from the new advanced discovery capabilities, CT logs, other endpoints, that sort of stuff that you didn't already have in inventory. So those are certificates potentially associated with your domain, visible online, but not under management and your single pane of glass CLM solution. So we run all of these checks on each certificate. And that can generate a lot of data that could be hard to sort through. So then we quantify each risk factor that we identify, each violation of one of these standards or best practices. We score each risk factor, and then we add the scores up for each risk factor on a certificate to define its overall risk score. And then finally, we post the results to certificate metadata in Command. And then using our query collections, alerting, reporting, automated workflow, you can use this information to reach conclusions like one of these. So very concerning would be like a publicly trusted server certificate improperly marked as a CA and capable of issuing its own publicly trusted certs. It's not an issue that we've seen or expect to see, but risk intelligence would catch that. More likely probably with public certs is the shadow IT or spoofing attack use cases. And so we have public certs, then we also have private certificates coming from your organizational enterprise PKI. So there, a key that's vulnerable to compromise becomes an attack vector to access your environment. In some cases, some very serious issues could put your entire PKI at risk. Then we also, in addition to the public and trusted enterprise certificates, we also see a lot of self-signed certificates. And maybe there are cases where they're not protecting essential systems, they don't otherwise have any issues. There could be cases where they're not causing any issue. But we see a lot of these self-signed certificates really do have just haven't been given careful attention by a PKI admin. And so they frequently do have defects. And in some cases, they're really not appropriate in the first place. And we would expect a trusted enterprise certificate. So the conclusions that you might draw from the risk factors that we're putting in certificate metadata are going to depend on the certificate type. And then even beyond that, what you're actually using it for, what system it's protecting, how critical is that? Is this used for sensitive data in transit, that sort of thing. But these are all questions that you might ask and that we can answer with risk intelligence. So with that, let me give a quick demo of what this looks like in our initial release. So this is the web portal for Keyfactor Command, and I've used the advanced discovery from Risk Intelligence to find certificates related to the domain for Kent State University, local public institution here near our Cleveland office. You can see there are 767 certs related to their operations, and each one of them has been analyzed and scored. On the score ranges, so they're meant to align so that 1,000 or higher is critical, so 4 digits, kind of order of magnitude. 1,000 or higher is critical. 100 to 999 is high. 10 to 99 is low. And 1 to 9 single digits, we would say informational or not risky. So let's see which of these certificates is at least halfway to critical. So we can run this query here from the certificate search in the portal. And this came up with 6 certificates. So let's take a look at one of these. All right, so this has a score of 747. And we can take a look at where that's coming from. So the overall risk score here in the integer field, and then the full results with all of the risk factors here in the big text field, sorted by severity. So at the top here is a finding coming from our predictive modeling component, calling out that this certificate is way out of line on some measure that we would expect it to be more in the typical distribution. And actually, this next finding is giving us a good clue because it's showing that the certificate is good for like 300 years. So well beyond really what we would see for real use cases. And then furthermore, we know these new guidelines are going to affect in just a few years. So for kind of 98% of this certificate's lifespan, key is going to be considered insecure. Then moving on down the list, we see a couple remarks about the issuer certificate, and yeah, so CN equals CA cert. That's really not the level of precision and information that we would hope to see in a certificate like this that's in real use. So if I was responsible for managing the Kent State environment, I would be ensuring that my systems are not relying on this certificate. If I have end-to-end automation set up with the orchestrators, this is very easy. I can revoke or replace the certificate in all locations really with just a few clicks. So we can remediate these that we found in this query, and that's great. But then we want to make sure that if new certificates come up that have these high risk scores, we don't want to have to keep rerunning this query. We want to automatically be informed of these new risky certificates. And so what we can do is create a certificate collection, just really a saved query. You can call it like KSU high risk, and say risk greater than or equal to 500, and we can save this as a collection. And then our collections tie into the workflow capabilities. So we can create a workflow that will send an alert, or automatically revoke the certificate and replace it even when a new certificate is found that matches this query, this criteria here. So we can use this and quickly find the certificates that were assigned the highest risk scores. Now, something else I can do is maybe these risk scores don't reflect my priorities perfectly. Maybe I care a lot about one specific issue, like issuer without country name, right? Was one that we saw. So we can instead, so we were searching risk score. We can instead search like risk intelligence results dash contains issuer without country name. I believe all 6 of these actually do hit this issue. So yeah, we see each of these is going to have this issuer without country name. So the point here is that we're giving really a lot of flexibility for you to set your own priorities. So we think of these risk scores as directional, really more than authoritative. It's a tool to help you find the potentially riskiest certificates in a high volume of data. So that's available, as well as the ability to search for these specific risk factors without making any reference to the scores. So yeah, having this information in certificate metadata gives you that flexibility. Quick note about where we're going is we realize the big text metadata is not the most beautiful UI, right? So longer term, this will move to another tab on this dialog box. And we're also working on some more visualization tools, that sort of thing. But we really are providing the same security value with this approach. So not holding up the initial release for purely cosmetic changes. All right, and yeah, so the takeaway here is that the risk intelligence module runs silently in the background, populate this information in certificate metadata, which is exactly where you want it to begin remediating the issues. And here, I want to give some idea about what issues we're seeing. So these are selected figures from running this on public data, Fortune 500, .edu, .gov domains. Additional details are in our research report, Breaking Digital Trust, which will be linked shortly. You can see some issues here are surprisingly common. Endpoints still using X509 V1 or V2, negative serial numbers, kind of 3-4% of all certificates. Fortunately, more serious issues are less common. They do still arise. Then in addition to these, some risks really aren't quite that black and white. So like looking at SAN count, there's no rule that says I can't have 4,700 SANs in a single certificate. But doing so is really creating a single credential that can be used to impersonate any of those systems or decrypt traffic sent to any of them. So it's kind of putting all of your eggs in one basket. It also causes certificates to become very large. So we see kind of regular RSA 2048-bit certs as large as 87 kilobytes. And that can cause problems because OpenSSL, popular client that consumes certificates, by default only allocates 100 kilobytes for the whole certificate chain. So this is starting to run up against some soft limits on some systems. So we would recommend in most cases that these use cases be separated out, given a distinct certificate, securely generated on the device, and have that be used for each. So we'll flag really egregious attributes that fall outside best practice like this, mostly maybe even just as informational or low risk. But, we really do see that that's not a hard rule, but it is outside best practice. So overall, we're currently checking about 500 risk factors, and we expect to increase this in nearly every release. So that's what we have to share for today as far as risk intelligence on this generic data. For next steps, if you're a current hosted customer, we're offering free reports where we'll scan your most important public domains and run analysis on those certificates that are visible online. So that would be a small subset of your full certificate inventory that you have in Command, which we analyze if we deploy in your production environment. But this report will illustrate the functionality and provide insights on any urgent risks that are visible there. For new prospective customers, this is something that we can work with you to set up in your POC. So we're dropping a poll that will let you register your interest here. So again, Command Risk Intelligence is a new module for CLA as a service and PKI as a service customers, so our hosted offerings, to have actionable risk automatically detected and surfaced for remediation right within your CLM platform. We have some more information in our online resources, including the recent self-published research report and coverage from other sources. And with that, I'll open it for Mike to facilitate Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, JD, as always. So I do have a few questions here. I want to make sure that we cover them. The first is, can I set my own weights for some of the different risk score components?
Yeah. So there are a few things there, and roadmap to improve further. So right now, I'm sorry, I'm getting an echo. So is that it? Yeah. Okay. So right now, the overall risk score is in the integer metadata field. And you can manually override that with any value that you like. So what we would expect customers to do is, this will analyze the certificates, score them. You'll look at the ones that are high risk, and some of them you'll dislike and will revoke and replace those. Others you'll say, no, that's an acceptable risk. and then you can manually zero that score out or set it to an appropriate value so that it'll show up in the right collections. Then also today, again, you can search for these specific risks without making any reference to the quantified score. And then our roadmap is, again, where we're going to move that those risk factors from the big text metadata field to another tab. And in that model, there will be better support for more granular alterations to the weights on individual risk factors. So that's our approach to, again, recognizing that everyone has different priorities and different ideas of risk. So this is what we have for tooling to support all of those diverse use cases.
Yeah, that's great. And I think one of the nice things is the command platform is so flexible, and then this tool is kind of reflecting that, right? You can do whatever you want with it. You can configure it however you want to. You can kind of pull it into collections, reports, what have you. So it's really powerful and customizable. Another question I got was about availability for on-premise command customers, because it mentions that it's only CLA as a service and PKI as a service right now.
Yeah. So this initial version is only available to our hosted customers. That said, certainly we want to support everybody as best we can. So we are exploring and potentially offering something similar to our on-premises customers. That's really not likely to be this year. There's just some differences in how this module would communicate with the various systems, including that third-party certificate database of host scans. So there's just some more considerations, design and engineering work to support the on-prem users. That is something that we hope to do in the future. So certainly, don't feel like we'll never do anything for you, and please register your interest so that we can track demand for support for on-prem users.
Great. And then one other question is about how the licensing works and availability.
Yeah. So because this is being deployed only in our hosted environments, really, the licensing is pretty easy. There are 5 different tiers. A 6th to be available later. The first versions we expect to have available in July, with then the 6th free version available at a later date. Licensing is tiered, running against your hosted environment. No new license files or anything for you on the customer side. Once you purchase this, our cloud team will get the appropriate product into your environment, and then this runs and you interact still entirely from the same command portal that you're used to. There's no new interface or anything. So really, in that sense, there's no new licensed features. In that you still get the same experience that you always have. 5 tiers, free one later, paid in July.
Yeah, and I think that's really relevant. One of the things that we saw earlier this week that was a huge announcement was the CA browser forum is going to be lowering the SSL and TLS certificate life cycles from a little over a year right now down to 47 days by 2021. So not only is this great for kind of figuring out where you need to focus your operations and make sure that you have secure certificates, but things are about to get a lot more complex if you don't have certificate lifecycle automation in place, and having those different tools and being able to kind of set those things up is going to be critically important as they progressively lower it every year. I think it's next year's 200, and then 2027 is 100 days, and then by 2029 it'll be 47 days. So time is of the essence, and getting prepared so that you don't have to increase your certificate manual tasks by 8 is pretty important, I would say. So JD, any last thoughts?
Thank you all for attending. This is, again, our new product that we're very excited about, and very happy to talk with you all further about it at another date.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. And as I mentioned, we'll send up the attachments of the slides and some of the reports and other content that we talked about in the follow-up email. So, yeah, just look for that from us, and have a great day.